So let's talk a little bit about the weather. In one area, it's pouring down rain. Another area, it might be sprinkling, might have no rain. One area could be high winds. Another area could be low to no breeze. One area could be ice cold, while another area is hot. It's all weather, and it's all balancing each other because not all areas could get rain at one time. It creates damaging floods, and it creates destabilization to things that are to be stable. Bridges, sidewalk, roads, etc. We have to weatherproof our environment in order to sustain the climate barometer, the temperatures, and the weather that demographic area normally has. But as weather patterns are, they can flip around, and some place could get an unusually ice cold winter. Some place could get an unusually seasoned warm area. One area could have more tropical rains than never had tropical rains before. Some areas could have cyclones and tornadoes and hurricanes that never had them before. This is nothing new. The earth is shifting. The planets shift. Everybody shifts in unison. So the weather's going to do what the weather's going to do, and we work our best to stay stable and to create an environment that can withstand whatever it is that it's going to experience. And the same thing goes with energy. When there's a lot of energy and it builds up in the body because you're not giving the body an outlet, you're going to have an overabundance of energy and disruption to its natural electromagnetic core. And so then the core becomes unstable. The core is the fulcrum. It can no longer balance evenly and as beautifully as it has before when it is overwhelmed with too much energy. These energy comes from chemicals in foods or just choosing the wrong foods that are not higher in nutritional value. This can come from waters. This can come from situations. This can come from relationships. This can come from hormone balances and imbalances. Because so much of what we take in disrupts the hormone, the endocrine, the delicate system that cascades the body with a flow of ebb and flow and harmony, and you become into disharmony, dis-ease, uncomfortable, imbalanced, off-kilter, glitching. And for a period of time, you can bounce back from that. But after you get a buildup of repetitive imbalances, your body no longer can send and receive and retrieve and translate messages. And so then you get misfires into all the cells and different systems, and then everything is in chaos within the physical, the mental, the spiritual, the etheric, and the energetic bodies, the emotional bodies, etc. When one becomes more full and another, you don't have an outlet for that. So let's say you're holding in a lot of mental decision making, this and that, plus you're balancing your daily routine and all the personalities that evolve with it, and maybe you're not eating properly, and so now you're clogging the system up with all of that. So now the mental is overflowing into the physical, into the emotional, into the etheric, and then there's no way you could be spiritual because everything else means you have to be in survival mode. And so then you're constantly emptying out your adrenal glands with its very special liquid gold, which is cortisol, which is to be saved in a reservoir for when you actually need it. you're in a constant drip and sometimes a drain. And so now your body is not giving the trunk the main blood flow because you're trying to give the blood flow to the extremities to get you away from something. So therefore, critical thinking is not part of your daily routine. So you keep hitting override and override and override and override until the body just can't override anymore. And you wonder why you're exhausted, or you're going through fatigue, or you're not sleeping, you're not hungry. You're in a constant flux of crazy chaos and cyclones within cyclones within cyclones. And the cells that are good are being killed off, and the cells that are not so good are dominating, and they're not being killed off. And so there's no apoptosis, there's no nothing happening, and you're building up all this toxicity because fat cells hold toxicity. And so you wonder why you have no energy, why you can't, drop some weight, why things are becoming overwhelming, and then you get a lot of clutter. So this is going on across the board everywhere. But while we're having these energetic changes, we can't have everybody down at one time. The seesaw would be totally imbalanced. It would break off of the fulcrum. So we have to look at the programming, the paradigm, and the things that we've done that we call ourselves advancing, and look at, are we backsliding? Are we in quicksand? Are we being held under the water too long? Is our body craving oxygen? Is it craving movement? What do I have control over here so that I can swim, not sink, not drown? What can I do? And you know where I'm going with this, because it's always stop, become aware, drop into the body, feel what's going on, connect with the breath, and allow the system to find its own kind of, weeble wobble, which at some point during its storms you may consider stable, but you need to take the breath further so that you can actually, touch down. I feel the soles of my feet. I feel the flesh and bone of my body now. I didn't realize I was all out there in all of that stuff. This weekend, there have been a lot of energetic things going on in the energetic world that some want to measure with energetic devices about what's going on with the magnitude and the altitude and the magnetics and the electrical and everything. That's nothing new, my friends. It's just new because you're getting the information in a different way through all these devices that can report back, and people have found ways to publicly get into these systems and report it back to you. And some are putting twists on it, and it becomes alarming to the nervous system because the nervous system has anticipation that something is coming, incoming. And when you have incoming and it's unknown incoming, or it might be familiar, lots of times you lock it down. You want to get away. You want to, oh, okay, I'm safe with that. I recognize that, or well, I don't recognize that. So the nervous system is constantly in overpalpitation. So there's never a steady stream of delivery system to all the messages of where it needs to go so that you can keep your body in a little more of a homeostasis so that you can make decisions, critical, acute, chronic, whatever those decisions need to be. You can make them by recognizing them a little bit better because you're identifying it because you're stop, drop, sitting, and connecting with your breath. So self-regulation requires identification. So as many have told me, they're exhausted. They're getting just taken out where they just need to sleep. And that's a good thing, my friends. That means your body just needs more decompression. Your body just needs more decompression. And so while it's needing the decompression, so it can rejuvenate and start to calibrate in a different way. You don't need everything rerunning and recalibrating. You just want to calibrate to adjust to the situations that are happening in your current environment. Understood and not understood. Environmental, non-environmental. It's all your environment, by the way. It's all your atmosphere in this dome. And it's the one and only thing that you actually have control over, of what you let in and what you let out, and how you allow things to process, and how much time, talent, and treasury you put into that process. So, not every part of the country needs to be raining, so the reservoirs are overflowing and there's flooding and things are being killed off and died off because there's just too much saturation. Not all areas can have, the heat where everything gets burnt off and died off because it's sucked the life out of any morsel of droplets of humidity it may have been retaining. Not everybody can get the high winds. Some people have to get the low winds. So those of us here on this planet that are experiencing the different types of actual physical weathers, we also have to look at the internal weather. And how are we gauging our barometer to tell us what is happening in our internal environment, and how do we adjust our internal environment to withstand and be stable and sturdy through the external environment, not the other way around. And it takes practice on the balance beam. It takes practice on the seesaw. It takes practice to hone in and harness your fulcrum to be able to balance the sturdy things coming off of it. And if you're not taking the time to realign and to align what is currently available in your atmosphere, your environment, you're not going to field and filter the information that your body is capable, innately capable of translating for you, with you. So if you are not taking the time to align so that you can take a good look at your external and internal environment, your external and internal atmosphere, you're not correcting and directing your regulators, then it's draining any stability and sturdiness that's being provided for you through this physical avatar, this anchor, this grounding body. This is the main frame where all circuitry must come through. And it's up to you how much energy you want to generate or be drained. It's up to you how much energy you want to generate or be drained. So it takes time to align. And that is one of the reasons why I've come back this summer to offer a zone technique therapy session for $99. It's done on Zoom. It helps you align the brain, the spine, the brain, so that your messaging centers your sensory systems, can be more intact. It's very, very subtle work. Some have very profound results. Some have very subtle, peaceful results. But you get results. You get results. So take your time and your talent to invest in yourself. Take some of your treasury, your funds, and put it towards self-investment. email me at embodimentofthesoul.com. info@embodimentofthesoul.com. It's in the description. You can do this. You can balance it. And for those of you who don't think you're off balance, get a session. You're going to find out, oh, shit. I thought I was weathering things pretty well. But hey, you got to build your reservoir so you stay balanced. So if the gale winds or the high rains or whatever externally comes along, your internal has a high volume of reservoir of tools, techniques, and talents to maneuver and navigate through the external. All right? I look forward to meeting you. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, and share. Love to all of you.